Make sure my phone don't ring. Good to go. Everybody's good?
How are you out at linebacker right now, specifically with maybe more backups? I mean, we know a lot about Sori and Dix, but the younger guys.
Yeah, I think like Brad Shaw, I think Shaw is a good football player for us. I see him as one of the starters as well. White is going through a little hamstring, and being able to get him back out there, it's been awesome to kind of evaluate him and Justin Logan. And so seeing the guys get the reps and seeing the guys get better is kind of what I'm looking at. Again, knowing what Xavier and Steven, knowing what they can do, and also bringing Brad Shaw along. Like I said, I consider him as a starter as well.
Where's Tavion at right now?
Tavion's been running with the twos. I'm glad we got him. He's doing some really good stuff for us. It's always good to watch the high school guys go through spring ball, because once the summer starts, it's almost like they've been here a year because of spring ball. So it's good to get them out there learning the system and seeing them move around. And I mean, he looks like a SEC linebacker. He has the size and the length that you're looking for, and very smart kid, great kid off the field as well. So very, very, very pleased with him.
I want to ask you a question that I get asked a lot, but the money and the MAC. And I asked you about it last time, but you said they're pretty much the same.
Right, yes, sir.
But one guy's going out as the money, and one guy's going out in the MAC. So I'm just wondering, like, who's where, and there's got to be some kind of specific reason that you would have Dix at one and Sawyer at another.
Well, Steven is our interior inside linebacker. There's times where he's going to be flexed out and different things like that from what offensive schemes gives us. So we usually go field boundary, but then now we're doing some stuff where now we're matching the money back or wherever the tight end is at, different things like that. So it just depends on the scheme. But you want Steven in the middle, quarterback in the defense, and then you want Sori outside. You can blitz with him, do some different things with him. So, but if you could draw it up perfectly, you could get guys that could just both of y'all play the same position, no matter where the ball at. Both of guys can kind of rotate different sides. That type of deal.
So Steven is the MAC or the money?
He's the MAC. Mm-hmm.
Coach Pittman has talked a lot about some of the depth concerns just in terms of sheer numbers in the secondary and on the defensive line. How has that kind of gone this spring numbers-wise, and, what's your read on the depth for those two groups? Yeah,
that's a great question. So you start out, you go out there, we don't have the depth that we would have in the spring. And then for us defensively, like I talked to the staff, we football coaches. So you could complain about the depth, or you could coach football and get guys better. So we just been focusing on, okay, who's out there? Let's get them better, and you can see the defense is getting better as a whole. We got guys that's out with injuries and different things like that. So, man, if you're a football coach, man, coach football. Don't complain. It is what it is. At the end of the day, nobody cares anyway. So defensively, like I talked to the staff, let's go out there and let's just coach. Let's coach to see if they can get better, and they actually has gotten better. Now we have to go get some more pieces and different things like that, but very pleased with just the growth of the defense overall.
We've seen and heard a little bit about Selman Bridges and just kind of the strides he's making as a younger guy. What have you seen out of him in the secondary?
Seeing growth, because he's still a freshman. He's a guy that was a freshman last year season, right? And we're still in his freshman year of college. So just seeing him going through his second spring ball and just seeing the growth, seeing him being developed, seeing him taking coaching and taking his game to another level. And that's a good thing. All of our guys that's been here that are freshmen, they cannot be the same as if when they first got here. So just to see the growth is a good thing, to see him growing.
We've seen a lot of the safeties rotating. I think you've had like every one of them, Miguel, Larry, and Caleb playing at the hog or different spots in the safety. What have you seen from them, and is that something where you're trying to figure out their best spot, or could, when we get to the season, have that like a healthy rotation among those three spots based on situation and stuff?
A little of both. I mean, first of all, starting with those three guys, you see leadership. Those guys have really grown into the leadership role, and when they speak, the guys listen. They lead by example as well. I think it's a little both of kind of seeing the more you can do, the more value you can bring to the defense, and some of it is also depth, right? So you got to go out there with 11. So we got to figure out pieces and different things like that. So some of it is figuring out what they can do. another part of it is the depth part of it, where okay, we have to go out there with 11 guys, so putting guys in positions where they probably wouldn't usually be, but then you look up and like, man, you know what, he can play this position. So it's really been good. It's really been good. You see Larry, Miguel, Caleb, all those guys playing different positions. It's really been good for us to see on film what they can do if something happens in the season where they have to play these different positions.
What's the biggest thing you're looking for from your defense in the scrimmage on Saturday? Anything in particular that you're really going to be watching for?
Get better. So I hold it, and I know you like, get better. What in the world? Every day I go in there and I tell them, man, let's get better. We play our first game in September. So spring ball is okay. Running, blocking, tackling. You know, I want them to run to the ball like their life depended on it. And when they hit people, make sure they go backwards and get them on the ground. You know, so those fundamental things, if they run a power or a counter, let's fit it up right. You know, if you're getting over routes, you're getting different route schemes and different, let's cover it up. Like, let's get better at the small things of getting better as far as the defense. I'm sure it's the same thing offensively. Yes, we want to compete and we want to do well, but let's leave spring ball and say, okay, when you have the cut ups, we got 100 reps of playing the power. We got 100 reps of playing the counter, zone read, the mesh route, whatever it is, and then you start looking it up and say, okay, this is the type of defense we're going to be. This is, you know, because right now we don't know. We're going to be 4 down, 3 high. We really don't know, so we're putting it all together. And then once we get those pieces, this is what we're going to be. But I want to see them go out there, man, and play like their life depending on it, and play like their hair is on fire, and tackle well, and be healthy, but tackle well. So.
One more, just based off what you just said about not necessarily knowing what type of defense you're going to be. Is that a new thing this spring, just based off all the turnover? Is that something you've dealt with in previous years here at Arkansas, or is it maybe a little extra this season, not knowing your identity just yet?
I think it's year to year. So you go in and you say, okay, as a defensive coordinator, we're this. We're 4 down. We're going to be attacking. We want to rush the passer. And then you got to, okay, like last year, I know like 3 high that's not in my background, right? We play Tennessee, and then, boom, it pops up, right? And then you go out, and then you play Texas, and it pops like, whatever we got to do to win the game. It's not like Travis Williams could be stubborn and say, hey, we're this, and we did. Okay, well, can we stop this particular offense with this particular scheme? So just trying to be multiple as possible and giving our guys a chance to be successful on the field.
Speaking of adding numbers, I guess this is your 3rd season here, and I guess we always hear about like crazy numbers on the offensive side in terms of NIL and all the movement. How's recruiting maybe changed on the defensive side, just specifically since you've been here?
I think it's all over the country. It's the NIL changes things as far as, I mean, the kids are asking for money, and if you have it, you have it. You don't, and that's just kind of the landscape of college football. Big people cost a lot. So if you're going to get big people, it's going to cost you some money. And it's just like the NFL. If you watch the NFL draft, they're going to go get a quarterback, and they're going to get a pass rusher. They're going to get somebody that can protect the quarterback. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same model. It's the same thing for college football. You're going to have to protect the quarterback. You're going to have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance, right? So if you're going to protect the quarterback, you got to get somebody that can get to the quarterback. So wherever all these teams are spending money, whether if it's a left or right tackle, you better have a defensive end. You better have a quarterback. Oh, they throwing the ball. You better have somebody that could cover. So I think the game is okay. Where's the money spent? If the money spent on the offensive tackle, they doing that for a reason. Well, you better have somebody to go get the quarterback. So it's kind of it's not even counted. It is the NFL model, so to speak.
And then, getting Xavier back, already the leading tackler from last year, just where have you seen his biggest development than maybe when you first came here?
Man, he's just understanding the scheme. It's just his knowledge of knowing what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And, he's asking questions, and not only is he asking questions, he's actually like helping the younger players on the scheme that we have, which is always good. So you're seeing that growth, and we have that conversation a lot. Like, I just tell them, like, this time next year, like, you're going to be in these rooms, and these GMs and these coaches going to be asking you these questions. So let's draw it up. Let's talk through it. And he's become like just a student of the game. He's in my office all the time. Okay, coach, let's draw this up. Coach, when you call us, what are you thinking? So he's kind of getting in my mind a little bit on why we call things in different situations, which is awesome.